Today's episode is going to be a little bit spicy, but we are finally going to be talking about why I have stopped talking about cycle syncing. Hey friend, and welcome to Perfect Periods, the place where we discuss how to navigate different periods of life while perfecting our actual period. What, like it's hard? I'm your host, fertility awareness educator, Berri on Berri, but you can call me Berri. Here, you'll be educated, equipped, and empowered with all the tools, knowledge, and resources you need to master your cycle so you can master your life. Now grab your favorite beverage and maybe a notebook, and let's dive right on in. Hello, love, and welcome back to another episode. It is day 5 of National Women's Health Week 2023, and I figured we would finalize National Women's Health Week talking about why I have stopped talking about cycle syncing. I think it is the wrap of the week, and it is also the wrap of really an era for me. Now, before we jump into this, let me do a quick disclaimer. 1, this was a personal decision. 2, there is no shade, no tea, or any of that to go towards anyone. It was me doing a lot of identity work and realizing where I was in alignment and where I was out of alignment. Now, with that said, let's go into the 4, maybe 5 reasons why I have stopped talking about cycle syncing. Briefly, number 1 was a shift in my identity as an entrepreneur. Number 2, wanting to protect a legacy that I believe God is building through me. And I am so grateful for it. I'm so grateful I can steward over this. Number 3, I didn't want to take credit for somebody else's work. And number 4, I was tired of feeling pigeonholed. So let's get into it. Reason number 1, a shift in my identity. Friends, I started cycle syncing 5 years ago, and that practice has served me so well. I started sharing it online just because it was helping me fix my period, and it has bloomed and developed into the business that I currently have. And while I'm really grateful for it, I also grew a lot as a person. When I started cycle syncing, I was working a full-time job. I was in Florida. I was in a completely different season of my life. Now I'm back home in Michigan. Well, I don't live at home, but Michigan is my home state, right? I live in Michigan. I'm in a relationship with the love of my life, and there's kids involved, and I'm an entrepreneur. Life is way more full now than it was then. And the magnitude in which I serve now and the roles that I have now in life are just very different than what they were before. And so for me, instead of being really regimented with cycle syncing, it's become a very intuitive practice and so second nature that I don't even realize I'm doing it anymore. The only thing I'm consciously aware of is tracking my cervical mucus and my basal body temperature, and that's because of doing the symptothermal method, So with that being said, yeah, I've just changed. And so as I've changed as an individual, my practice has evolved a lot. The second reason why I've chosen to stop talking about cycle syncing is because I found out there's 5 trademarks on the terminology cycle syncing, and I have zero interest in someone being able to tell me to stop doing what I know that I am called to do. In case you've never heard me say it, I know my purpose and my calling is to intercede on the behalf of women and teach them how to heal and help themselves because Western medicine won't do it. And I'll stand 10 toes down on saying that, period. So when I found out that there were 5 trademarks on this terminology, I was like, oh, don't do that. So when I first started cycle syncing and talking about it, there was one trademark. That was 5 years ago, and the trademark was related to food and ebooks related to eating in sync with your cycle, or saying cycle syncing food or something like that. And so I was just kind of like, oh, well, that's fine. Like, it's no big deal. You can talk about like nourishing your cycle and nourishing your flow a completely different way. So I'm good. Well, in February, I was launching a program with my friends over at Floca, and then they were like, hey, can you change this like verbiage because this is trademarked? And I was like, just so you guys know, I checked online. This is only trademarked if you're doing like this ebook or whatever. And I'll change it. And I did change it, but I was kind of like, what the heck? Like, why is everybody tripping over this? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Well, today, as I'm recording this, it's May 18th, 2023. And I knew I was going to record this episode about why I stopped talking about cycle syncing. I checked the trademark again, and there's since February been 4 other trademarks that have been filed related to cycle syncing. One talks about fitness programs. One talks about online coaching programs and wellness programs. Y'all, we know I am the online program queen. Master classes and courses, it literally calls it out. And I'm like, ooh, that's messy. Okay. That's even more validation and confirmation that it's time to stop talking about this, right? And so, when I think about the future of my business and where it's headed, I'll be honest. I don't want anybody getting the glory and the credit besides God. And I definitely don't want people in legalities to stop what God is trying to use me to do. And that's on period, poo, okay? The next reason why I stopped talking about cycle syncing is because I didn't want to be known for somebody else's work. So in case you don't know, the woman who is the pioneer, literally the mother of the movement, Alisa Vitti, or Alisa, I believe that's how it's said. Alisa Vitti is the pioneer of this movement. And I am so grateful for her ability to write so many books, but specifically the book Woman Code, which single-handedly changed my life. But I don't want to be known for what she's doing. I want to be known for what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be known for like how I do the things. And my thing, you guys know, is like really teaching women how to evolve the way that they work. My thing has always been drama-free periods, or better yet, stress-free hormone balancing. That's what Optimize Your Flow is all about. And so I want to be known for teaching people how to optimize their flows, not be known for teaching people somebody else's method, And like I said, I'm so grateful for her and her work, but I think over the last 5 years, I just didn't really pay deep attention to the fact there was this like constant association with like me and cycle syncing. And like, let me be clear. I knew it was there, but it wasn't one of those things where I thought people were like, oh, you created this. And then recently people are like, oh, you're the first person I ever heard talk about it. And I'm like, whoa, So because recently I like noticed that, I was like, ooh, easy. So the final reason why I've chosen to really stop talking about cycle syncing really comes down to feeling pigeonholed. So I think it's pretty clear I have been back on Instagram. I have been back on the podcast, and I have really been enjoying my business again. I mean, I won't shut up about it, right? Oh, by the way, in case you are looking to do some one-on-one hormonal health coaching, head to the show notes, apply to work with me. We'll talk more on that in a second. But, I got to a point last year where I hated showing up on the internet. I hated talking about cycle syncing because all I was talking about were the same phases and the same foods and the same practices. And it was just so boring. And I realized that a lot of the reason I felt so bored was because I felt pigeonholed. Like anytime I wanted to talk about something outside of it, someone somewhere had something smart to say. And I just didn't love that. And so instead of just being like, I'm going to keep talking about this, I did what I do best. And I just flipped the script. And I was like, you know what? We're just going to stop talking about it altogether. That's all. Thank you. And, I have had more fun creating content in the month of May 2023 than I probably ever have in the entirety of my business. honestly and truly. And I'm just so grateful that I feel so free. And I think that that freedom and that feeling truly is showing to you all. So yeah, if you want to know why I've stopped talking about cycle syncing so much, it pretty much boils down to that. Now, let me be very clear. I will still be sharing how you can do certain things in sync with your cycle. I will still share with you how to align with your cycle and different things. But, I really want to create a space that is people first rather than profit first. And I think if I would have stayed in the realm of cycle syncing, I would have just focused on the profits. And then if the profits stopped, then my peace was stopped. And now that I'm just so focused on people, I'm not even thinking about profits, and I have so much peace. Y'all don't even understand. And I know it kind of sounds silly, but I think there's a lot that goes into being an entrepreneur that people don't talk about and people don't share. And I'll be honest, there is a little bit of, I don't want to call it fear, but I definitely would say it feels a little uneasy to even be recording this episode and saying, like, here's why I stopped talking about this. Because I think for me, part of me was just like, well, if I never address it, then like I can just be like, oh, I never stopped talking about it. I just talked about it less, right? But now that I'm just kind of just being like, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Oh, it's just a lot more straightforward. So with that being said, I want to give you all a few updates. So one of the first updates is the fact that there is a one-on-one coaching program available called Optimize Your Flow, and it is a stress-free hormone balancing solution. It is the program that so many of you have been looking for, and it is a completely new program. And I cannot believe that I've created this program for you all, but I am just so in love with it because it is 100% the hormone balancing experience I think so many of you have been looking for without even realizing it. It's got these layers of customization that none of my programs have ever had. There's about 3 hours of coaching calls with me. In addition to that, you have me looking at your labs and like responding to you. In addition to that, you have custom protocols that are built specifically for you. In phase 1 of the program, you follow like the guided protocol, and then in phase 2, you get your custom one, and then phase 3, we optimize. But I think what I love the most about the program is knowing that at the end of our 12 weeks together, not only will you feel so energized and focused and most of your symptoms be alleviated, at the end of our 12 weeks together, you're probably going to feel the best you have felt in years in your body. And that confidence is going to exude to other people. You're going to be completely unrecognizable in the best way. And I cannot wait to just like share that with you. So I want to give you that update. Head to optimizeyourflow.com, sign up, or better yet, apply for the program. Also, let me answer 2 questions. One question I've received is, why do you have to apply? And the other question is, what's the price? So let's talk about both. The reason that you have to apply to the program is, one, just so I know who you are and we can talk before you actually like give any money. Like if I don't think I can get a result for you, I will straight up tell you to your face, thank you so much for your time, but I actually want to refer you to somebody who I think can better serve you. Again, I operate out of integrity, and so like I just want to know who you are. The second question has been, what's the price? And I cannot believe I'm saying this, but the price is $1,247, $1,247 paid in full or paid over time. There's payment plans available. And that's one of the things I'm really proud about for the program too. With the amount of time and energy that goes into this, I just feel like, I don't want to say it's a no-brainer, but it's one of the best investments you can make in yourself and actually see an ROI on and not question it. Another thing I really want to just share is this program is not designed to take a lot of your time, energy, or focus. It will take effort, right? Because you do need to show up for yourself and do the work. But there's an element of simplicity and efficiency in the program that I never had before in anything that I did. There's an element of just intuitiveness that I never knew how to get into a program, and I finally figured it out. And what I love, love, love the most is the level of customization. I just love tailoring protocols and programs to people in their life. Like that's what it's all about. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been to a boutique? Personally, I love going to a boutique. And one of the main reasons I love to go to a boutique is because there's like limited quantities of things, but the time, attention, and detail that goes into not only the clothing there, but the service that you get just really brings in this energy that is just so assuring. And I really wanted to bring that back into what I did. I really wanted to put people first. And I think this level of customization that people now receive in my program, Optimize Your Flow, just is unmatched. Because most hormonal health coaching programs right now are not even programs, they're courses. And nothing against courses. Y'all know I'm the queen of courses, but they're courses. And courses can serve the masses. But I really want to just start by serving the one again. And I think for where I'm at in my life now, that's going to be really supportive. So regardless, my apologies for the tangent, but I did want you to know that that's available. And then the last update. There may be a break coming in the podcast. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but the podcast is getting a little bit of a rebrand that's definitely more in alignment with things we're doing now. A lot less of the period talk and a lot more of the body talk is coming, and I don't know if I'm going to continue uploading episodes or if I'm just going to pause until the rebrand is here. But either way, I just wanted to give you a heads up. I hope that today's episode has been very supportive for you. And honestly, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I haven't seen this many downloads come for the podcast in a really, really long time. And just to know that every single morning you and I were like pretty much hanging out together in one way or another just put a smile on my face. So thank you so much for your time and your energy. I love you. I mean it. And I'll talk to you soon.